state law funding application form from the state of Texas, and it says it must be 25% of the gross amount. That's in that state book right here.
Okay.
I've got different numbers.
Yeah, this is the one.
I have 20% on my paperwork.
I'm sorry?
I think on my paperwork I have 20%, but they have to meet 20%. Mine might be old.
Well,
Okay, Councilman Jimenez?
I don't know, maybe we need to start from this year on or whatever. Maybe give you the same amount that we gave you last year. You know, that's my recommendation.
Okay, before I take that, I guess as a motion, that from Councilman Jimenez, is that what I'm looking at?
Yes.
I'd like to ask citizens if they have any comments towards this. Okay, if not, I have a motion on the floor by,
I'd like to add another thing. Is, you know, if you're going to look forward for this being an every year thing, maybe you could get a correct analysis for the hotel, motel, and maybe get a sign-in sheet or something for when people are coming in, addresses and everything else, starting from this day forward. Yeah.
Yes, Councilman, we did that, and we're planning on even getting more sophisticated. And I'm sorry that you don't have that detailed analysis, because we did ask every single person how they heard about it and where they came from.
I mean, that's just my suggestion, you know.
I think that's very useful.
okay, thank you. Councilman Cantu, did you have something? Can we do that? Okay. Okay,
Or double it, and double size.
okay. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez, correct? But I needed an amount. Okay.
I
Will
don't
you
know the
repeat?
correct amount, I think it was 5,000 something, was it just?
5,000, like 5,000.
5,000 for
No,
last.
you said what they gave them last year, or I didn't understand
Yes.
the emotion.
I think y'all said it was 5,000.
Was it 5? Okay.
It's best if it doesn't go over 5,000, because if not, I believe in future go around, we want to see a budget why all this is going on, and they bumped it 300%. So at this time, I'll second the motion from Councilman.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez to approve the amount of $5,000 to the South Texas Home and Garden Show, environmental show. No citizens' comments. I have a second by Councilman Ortiz. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? 3-2. Thank you. 3-2. Wait a minute, correct.
Wait a second.
If they want this one.
Huh?
No, we have a motion for $5,000. I ask all those in favor, please raise your right hand.
You're
in favor of 5,000?
In
Yes,
favor of 5,000.
yes. And all those opposed? I had 2 opposed. 2 opposed? Councilman Johnson?
You opposed?
I don't want 15, I don't mind 7,500. 15.
That's good. We have a motion on the floor, and we had a vote on it.
This was 3-2.
It was a 3-2 vote, right? Okay, thank you very much.
So what was it? Was it
5,000. 5,000, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 3C. Council, do y'all have anything else to say?
No, just
No, ma'am.
Okay.
good luck on this endeavor.
Item 3C, consideration action to approve disbursement of hotel motel tax in the amount.
May I make a comment on this last?
Yes.
Again, President South Floresville. If we're going to make decisions at this level that are not necessarily done through the process that we go through, again, we're just recommending you folks are the ones that decide, and we know that, and we appreciate that. But I think that if we're going to do certain things that are kind of just because we need to do that to curtail funds and all of that, I think we need to direct it to the committee, the board, so that we can operate under that kind of directive. And again, we still have to use whatever the law requires us to do, and we'll do the best we can to give you a good recommendation. But again, it feels a little, I guess, uneasy discomfortable or uncomfortable for us to do a job and then come over here and find out it doesn't mean anything. And again, I was not part of this one, and I wouldn't have come up with those figures either. But I believe in principle, we need to let us know what we're working on, please. Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez, if you want to stay up, Mr. Gonzalez, if you want to stay up for the next item, were you representing the visitor and
I'll
tourist?
be glad to. By default, process of elimination.
Okay. Consideration and action, item 3C, consideration and action to approve disbursement of hotel motel tax in the amount of $3,500 to Daniel Tejada for the 2017 holiday extravaganza.
Okay. The board met last night. We went through the process that I pretty much indicated. This time I was part of it. And after deliberations and considerations and talking to the people requesting the finances, the board decided to approve or recommend approval of $1,300.
How did you come to that amount?
By, again, looking at the expenditures that bring people to Floresville and therefore to hotels, motels, not necessarily using just plain numbers.
Have we ever given money from out of the hotel motel tax to an individual?
I don't know for a fact. I've been there just 1 year prior to this one and one day this time around. That's a legal question, I guess. May I answer it in opinion? My thinking is if they meet the criteria, I don't think it matters whether it's coming from an organization or a person.
Let me ask our attorney on that. What your opinion is on that when it comes to hotel motel tax going to an individual?
Well, what I see it as, is there a budget, Mr. Gonzalez, that was utilized? Was there criteria that was followed? Were there hits and beds?
Yes, I mean, we follow the same criteria we do on any request. The distinction I think that she's making is just correct. In the previous experiences, we've only had organizations, but in essence, sometimes it becomes one individual. In this case, it's an individual doing a particular thing that's in essence much the same as other activities, but not by a particular organization. But that person or that particular event met the requirements that we require.
Okay, so it was your board that looked at what he did?
Yes.
And that you felt that it met the criteria of
Yes.
the hits and beds and was for the betterment of the city of Floresville?
Yes, ma'am. And again, the figures given to us, the request was $3,500, based on our figurines using numbers that we think make a difference and it would indicate, Floresville gaining from it. We actually recommend approval of $1,300.
Wait, Councilman Nissen had his hand up.
According to the attorney at Hot Tax, this is perfectly legal to give them money. The problem it does is political. It opens it up to anybody who wants to have a wedding that is open to a public or anything open to the public. It opens that room. We cannot turn them down because it could start to become discriminating.
Well, there is only... Hold on. I'm taking out, Councilman Jimenez wanted to come.
Okay, one of the questions was, okay, we had a holiday extravaganza last year. Okay, how many rooms did they bring in, or how many people stayed in here? How many people attended?
I cannot answer that. They didn't come to us.
What? I know the city, we had budgeted money for this, correct?
This
I think we had
event,
budgeted $10,000 or $20,000 for.
the extravaganza event
Yes.
was originally scheduled to be a city event. However, the council decided to let the 4A make a decision if they wanted to host this event, and the 4A did not. As a sponsor for the event, I believe Mr. Tejada sponsored the event. He called it extravaganza, and was sponsoring the event. To answer the mayor's question, yes, we have written a check to someone, not necessarily an organization, because they were the sponsor of the event. And so that's why the check was written to them. Ergo, back when we first started doing it for the one with the roundhouse. Up there. Then we have done that with the balloons as well. We sponsored that event, and that was for an individual who sponsored the event. The city opted, the 4A opted not to have the event, and so Mr. Tejada did have the event. He presented, I was at that meeting last night, he presented, I believe he's here tonight, if he cares to answer any questions in reference to what was there, but that's what it was in reference to the hotel motel tax.
So you did give a check to, when they have the balloon fest, is that what you're saying?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And
Refund.
then there was one given to Mr. Gray, when we had the one with the motorcycles and that dirt bike. We gave money.
35,000.
25, and it was actually
25,000?
25, and it was actually written to him, it wasn't written to the organization.
And that person didn't even have the event.
He had an event, but at that time, he didn't have a board like we have now that actually goes through those applications and sponsor that. That was pre to having this board established.
Councilman Nissen?
Did Mr. Gray have a 501?
Yes, he did have an organization to do that, and one of the criteria.
Yes, had a 501.
Yes, and one of the criteria reference to, you mentioned weddings, one of the criteria the board has is that you have to sell tickets, but it has to have some kind of admission. And so therefore, we would probably try to eliminate anybody having a personal wedding.
May I
There has to
address-
be tickets to be
Hold
sold.
on one second. Go
You
ahead.
know, back to Councilman Neeson's comment, not just anybody can actually come in here and make an application and meet the criteria. Very specific criteria has to be met, and we call it the two-step. The first step is that they must put heads in beds. If you don't do that to some degree, then you don't go beyond that. Then, in addition, you have to meet one of 9 categories. The event or the activity has to be one of those, and weddings is not in there. And that's just talking about one. But let me give you an example. For example, it says the 9 categories that you have to meet. One of, in addition to the putting heads in beds, is convention and visitor centers, convention registration, advertising the city, promotion of the arts, historical restoration and preservation, sporting events in a county under 1 million in population. And there's a lot of other criteria, but those are the main categories. Enhancing and upgrading existing sports facilities or sports fields, and this is only in certain cities. And then number 8, tourist transportation systems, but again, in connection with providing people or bringing people into hotels and motels. And then lastly, signage directing the public to sites and attractions that are visited frequently by hotel guests in the city. And I don't think, just because a particular individual comes in here that they are going to meet that, but I don't see why we distinguish between somebody that comes in here and has essentially met all the criteria and provides the city the benefits that we're talking about.
Well, like I said, this is what Mr. Todd is doing is perfectly legal. Legal. Oh, yeah, what he's doing is perfectly legal. It's
Oh,
perfectly
okay,
legal.
I'm sorry, I thought you said it.
No,
He heard it.
Yeah, but so did I.
Okay,
Okay, you raised everything I said. I've got it.
Another question.
Councilman Jimenez,
You want me to stay here?
please.
Okay, why is he asking for the money after the fact?
You can answer that too.
Please.
He is allowed to do it because it never went to the council. It went to the board, and the board is bringing it up. And by law, he has the right to ask for it after the fact. So he is suggested to bring a post thing, saying how many rooms he has, but if you read his deal, basically he's got everything that's required for a post. So you can legally do it afterwards.
Council,
It's been done before too.
Council, I can answer that question.
Please.
If you look at the date of the application, I believe it's dated early November. If you have a chance to look at it right now, it's early November.
December 9th.
No, no. The previous one. The very first application,
You don't have that.
We weren't given that. We were given the December.
Oh, November 13th. is
No,
Mr.
December
Thomas.
9th was the date of the event.
November 13th. And the application says in kind, does it not? In kind means waiving the cost of the event center. The Visitors Bureau failed to meet in November. They failed to put my application in December. So hence, the event took place. For whatever reason, the application never came to the board, and it never came to the council. So yes, to answer your question regarding political, obviously it can be political, but the law says that it has to be a public event. It cannot be a private event. It cannot be a wedding or quinceañera like you indicate.
What,
Mr. Ortiz brought up a very valid point about the cash flow. That's why the original application said in kind, no return of cash. All it was asking for, if you look at the application, it says $1,200. And that's just covering security, some printing costs, green room fees, and so forth. Since no action was taken, I did pay the $2,300, which I'm sure y'all have verified several times. So that's why we are not asking for $3,500 to include the in-kind originally asked for was $2,300 for the event center. But let me tell you about this event. This event started in 2010. It's probably the largest event we've had here in the event center. When some of y'all were elected last year, I was at the very first council meeting, and y'all talked about how we need to bring events to the building. How we need to generate revenue here. Well, the biggest event that's ever been held here, y'all didn't have it. Y'all just totally didn't have it. This event brings people from all over, it has brought people from all over Southwest Southwest United States. We have brought the best of the best artists in the Tex-Mex industry. Grammy award-winning artists like Lil Joe, Rubén Ramos, Ramon Ayala, La Mafia. The very best. If you're familiar with Tejano music, those are the very best. It's a tradition that we should continue in Floresville, and we cannot, have these breaks. We're going to cancel it this year. We're going to cancel it. It depends on who gets elected. We're going to cancel it. It's been canceled once before, and guess who took it over? I'm standing right here. All I was asking for was waiving the use of the building. You mentioned a promoter. You asked Ches, what about the promoters? Well, in this case, I am the promoter. I am the promoter. Last night, the question that the Visitors Bureau asked me, well, what about advertising? We put those events late, and all I used was social media. So we printed some posters, but 99% of our efforts were all social media. And if you're familiar with that, there's no cost at all. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
And that is the only, Tejano.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. When you had the event last year, how many people did you bring in?
No, sir. Last year was a city-sponsored event. The city had, I believe, was it La Mafia last year or Ramon Ayala?
Ramon
Norteño artist. And I was guessing last year probably about 800 people. People from all over the United States. Most of the southwestern part of the United States. This time around, I know at least 10 rooms were booked because 6 of them I arranged myself. Other visitors came into the office and talked to Ches and to Margaret of booking hotel rooms. If there's a feeling that, okay, $3,500, this guy's going to get rich off of that, trust me. I'm not getting rich off of $3,500. $3,500 I already spent for the events.
I think we've given enough information. I'll make a motion to.
Hold on, Councilwoman Cantu. Well, I just wanted to tell Mr. Tejada that thank you, because this event is the only Tejano event in Wilson County. And there's a lot of us that really, really appreciate that. My whole family gets together here, and that's how we celebrate Christmas.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you very much for doing that for us.
Any other comments from the council?
It's the year before, didn't it lose like $20,000?
Okay, let me answer that, Mr. Johns.
That was from the hotel tax.
We often hear that in the community, oh, it lost $20,000.
Well, because of the Wilson County.
Yeah, let's explain that. Okay, you're using hotel motel tax to fund the event. When people come into the door and pay $40 a ticket and you have sponsors promoting the event, that is making up the revenue that the hotel motel tax uses. But anytime you use city hotel motel tax, that's exhausted. Once that revenue comes in, it can be put back in to the hotel motel tax, or it can be put in the general fund. It could be put in the park fund. Am I correct on that, Ms. City Manager?
The revenue is not necessarily returned to the hotel motel tax. I believe the difference was the expenditures and the revenue didn't necessarily offset itself, but not all events will, because as the council has said, that 25% is what the goal is for the hotel. It's not necessarily to say that we spend $50,000 for the event or $20,000 for the event, that we should make $20,000 as well. Because the purpose of the hotel motel tax is seed money to advertise and go forward and to bring people in to advertise the city of Floresville as well as our wonderful hotels.
And I remember that year, some of the artists came a day before.
This Ramon Ayala, did I say it correctly?
Yes.
Award-winning, it was quite, I'm not familiar with him as an artist. I did attend last year, as I did this year. It was quite a crowd, and people were quite impressed to see him. We also had a local band,
Good times.
Good Times Band, and we presented them with, I think it was you, Councilman, that presented them a local band that was retiring. It was a well-attended event, a very family-oriented event. But the purpose of hotel motel tax is not a return on investment. So if you spend the 20, it's not necessarily that you're going to recoup the 20 in taxes of the tickets. It's actually seed money to help promote the area as well as the hotels, which is why step one is to get heads and beds.
If I could say something further, this is the largest event that Event Center has held. But I am now on the 4A. I'm also on the 4B Corporation, and thank you very much for your support. But Ches is doing a great job. Some of these events that we've talked about just came about in the last couple of meetings that we've had. But we've also given the direction to plan a great big country gala. As a matter of fact, to coordinate, be here on the same time as the stock show next year. We need to diversify all the events that we have coming into Floresville. Whether it be Tejano, whether it be country, whether it be blues, anything that's going to bring people into our building and bring them into our city. Are there any other questions?
Councilman Ness?
Listen, we cannot compare the city event to what Mr. Tejada event was. So it was a totally different event.
No, it was like
Extravaganza, but the city sponsored that one, Mr. Tejada sponsored this one. So we can't compare. We can't ask last year's hotels, we can go by this year's hotels when the cities did.
Yeah, we had about 300 guests, about 20 people stayed in rooms.
And I believe it because when I go by, the parking lot was decent.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments from the council before I go take it to the citizens?
I'm gonna make a motion to.
Well, before I entertain that, I'm giving the opportunity for citizens in the audience.
May I say something?
Yes.
I mean, you know, we used to, the council used to sponsor the extravaganza with so much funds, and there used to be a lot of complaints or anti. We should move forward and be more accountable for these funds that we're giving out, and be more fair. Let's be fair about all this. Let's not just give it away because it's politically or whatever. I'm on a cutback, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say this. I'm on a cutback. But that's just my say. I'm on a cutback.
Okay, at this time, I'd like the opportunity for any citizens who would have any comments to feel free to come up to the podium. Okay, if none, I will entertain a motion on item 3C. I think Councilman Jimenez, did you have a motion?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and make a motion. And for one thing, I mean, I don't know why this didn't come before us. I mean, he's having to wait for his money, and I'm sure he would have been approved with the criteria and stuff that he had. You know, we just want to continue doing a great job moving the city forward. We need to utilize this event center. We got a beautiful place. We got to move on with it. And I'll make a motion to give him $3,500 as he's asking for the disbursement.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez to approve the disbursement of hotel motel tax in the amount of $3,500 to Daniel Tejada for the 2017 holiday extravaganza. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilwoman Cantu. No, it's after no citizens' comments. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? 3-2.
Thank you, Council.
Moving on to item 3D, consideration and action to approve the 2017-18 investment policy. We have our comptroller, Mrs. Moreno.
Council, this is the second time that I bring this policy to be approved. The first time, if you recall, I brought it in because there were some legislative changes to the policy. At this time, we do have to adopt another policy for the beginning of the year. As for the audit in our charter, we have to adopt a policy, investment policy, every year. So now it is time to adopt a new one, so the changes are already incorporated into this new policy.
Has our attorney been able to look over this policy and basically given her blessing?
Our current attorney has not, the previous attorney had.
Any questions from the council?
Yeah, I've got a question. Folks, the recommendations are everything okay here?
Sergeant?
I said, according to the previous council that we had, attorney, did she okay it and everything was fine?
Yes, she's okay. The one was represented to you before had the strikeouts, so the attorney never looked at the markings, and so this does not have the markings in it, and the previous attorney did. But it just happened in December, January, so we want to do this. It's per the audit, we want to do it. But it's not a problem if you wait until the next week. We want to give you an opportunity to review that. It's just that we want it to be on tax.
And just be aware the next meeting is getting loaded up. But you've had the opportunity, but it's up to the council if you'd like to take.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is really a housekeeping issue. We've adopted a policy, just to let you know, we have to do one every year that's required. It's standard language.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you.
Any citizens' comments pertaining to the resolution? If not, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez to approve the 2017-18 investment policy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Nissen. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? 4-0. All right, thank you. Moving on to item 3E, consideration and action to approve ordinance 2018-001, budget amendment number 2.
Yes, ma'am. This is the budget amendment that was presented or was requested by Lieutenant Jimenez, Evans. And this is just to follow up and put the amounts on the budget, because as you know, these funds are not budgeted with the year budget. So every time that they approve new purchases or expenditures, we have to come in and do a budget amendment.
That's the one that we discussed prior.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to pass.
Any questions or comments by the council before I entertain that motion? If not, any citizens' comments? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez to approve ordinance 2018-001, the budget amendment number 2. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Jimenez. All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Nissen.
Nissen, I'm sorry. 3, 4, 5. Councilman? So I made a motion by Councilman Jimenez, seconded by Councilman Nissen.
And I'll approve that. This one.
Thank you, Council.
We're not quite there yet, Councilman Jimenez, but we will get there. Moving on to item 3G, consideration action to authorize evidence engineering to prepare interconnect plan for the Oak Hills water supply. We do have Mr. Costa?
You have several people, Mayor, as he's setting up the presentation, may I speak?
Yes.
There are several issues, even though we're going to ask for separate action. There are two issues. One is going to be, of course, the interconnect to Oak Hills Water, which is definitely a component of affecting